What's up YouTube? Nate the old school otaku here. My Novembeard is in full effect. The lights are hung on the tree. The stockings are hung with care. And the smell of e-commerce is wafting through the air. As Black Friday is here and the holiday shopping season is in full swing. With all of that in mind, it's time for my old school otaku shopping guide. Stay tuned! And welcome back. So, as I was stating in the pre-catch, this is my holiday shopping guide for the old school otaku. Now, the whole point of this is to kind of give you an idea of some of the things that you can easily find online or at local retail shops that are old school items, such as, things that were released during the old school period, and easy, simple ways to get into watching old school items, or pick up that one old school item that a friend of yours or family member who happens to love this type of stuff is looking for and would love to have in their collection. So that's kind of the stipulation here. Everything I'm going to list today will be easily available on either Amazon.com, TheRightStuff.com, or even available in big box stores such as Best Buy, Walmart, Meijer, Kmart, any of those different places. Target even. I have seen quite a few of these available at Walmart. So that's definitely awesome to to even think about. So, without further ado, let's get started with entry number 1. Number 1, Vampire Hunter D. Vampire Hunter D is set in a post-nuclear apocalyptic Earth in the far distant future, in a world where vampires, demons, and monsters slither about a world of darkness. This film was released in 1985 and is one of the first animes to have been released here in the States, and is a great entry-level item that you can easily pick up online if you so desire. Number 2, Vampire Hunter D, Bloodlust. Vampire Hunter D, Bloodlust is a sequel to the original Vampire Hunter D. Came out in the year 2000 and has received critical acclaim from both fans and critics alike due to its English voice acting, as it was originally recorded in English, and its use of animation techniques and better animated visuals. It boasts a larger cast of characters as well as those better visuals, and is considered to be probably the better of the two, as most people consider. Either way though, it's a great addition, and it's fairly cheap online, so why not pick it up? Number 3, Super Dimension Century Orguss. Super Dimension Century Orguss is the second of a 3-part trilogy in the Super Dimension series brought out by Big West. While it doesn't share any of the storylines or any real storyline or character elements between the other two items in it, it does, however, have a great story and almost became part 3 of the Robotech series, but instead was replaced by Genesis Cybermospedia, whereas the other two in its trilogy were there, Super Dimension Macross and Super Dimension Southern Cross. Either way though, this was recently released by Discotek Media and is a great anime to pick up, especially if you're a fan of Robotech. Number 4, Robot Carnival. Robot Carnival is a cult classic. Much like The Animatrix and Memories, this is an anthology film that consists of 9 short films that have their own animation directors, and animation departments. Each of the short films boasts its own storyline and animation quality and style, while all 9 of them do share a common theme in that being robots. This was recently released by Discotek Media, is at a great price, and is a perfect stocking stuffer for any old school otaku fan out there. And honestly, I can't recommend it enough. This one you should definitely pick up. Number 5. Cardcaptor Sakura. Cardcaptor Sakura is a mix of the magical girl and magical thief genres of anime, and is often considered one of the many gateway animes from the 90s. It did have a short run on TV back in the 90s in the form of Cardcaptors as a very edited and, censored version of the show, very similarly to how Sailor Moon was treated back in the day. This form is known as the Cardcaptors. However, Cardcaptor Sakura, the original Japanese storyline, which was made by Clamp, has much more adult and serious tones at times than the original Cardcaptors. However, with all of this in mind, even though the recent Blu-ray release has a pretty hefty price tag, if you do have the cash for it, I recommend you pick it up, as this is a great series to watch, and is even good to bring out and watch with the kids. So keep that in mind. Number 6. Robotech. How can I talk about Orguss and not bring up the topic of Robotech? While true, many fans may consider Robotech to be a horrible mishmash of 3 completely different anime series, it is still a classic that was brought out here in the States back in the 80s and 90s, and is one of those shows that many fans, such as myself, grew up watching. It still has an engaging story, great characters, great voice acting, the dub is superb, and of course, it's an awesome gateway anime for any budgeting fan of mecha or old school topics, and is a great thing to actually take a look at. In fact, anybody who watched old school G.I. Joe and other things like that might recognize a lot of the storylines, some of the voice acting, and things like that. Either way, though, if you're looking for a copy, I still recommend seeing if you can find used copies of the ADV collection, the old collections that they used to come out with back in the early 2000s on DVD. If you can find those are great finds, and they show the source in its original format. However, in lieu of that, the recently released complete collection is still available at retail stores and is a great stopgap for the time being until you can find some of those older copies. Number 7. Space Pirate Captain Harlock, 2013. Alright, I know what you must be thinking. Nate, come on. A 2013 animated CGI feature film is in your old school otaku shopping list? Well, yes, it is. I'm entirely serious. This 2013 animated movie is beautifully well done and is just as old school as the original Harlock series from back in the 70s. And thanks to Twilight Time Movies' recent Blu-ray release, we here in the States can actually pick up a copy to own, enjoy, and just let our eyes be assaulted by this beautifully animated feature that discusses topics such as freedom with the guise of space piracy. Number 8. Royal Space Force, The Wings of Honneamise. Admittedly, I have not actually seen the Royal Space Force as of this recording. One of the reasons is I currently don't own a copy because I didn't even realize that this was available for purchase until I started doing research for this very episode. However, this feature film, the first animated feature brought out by Epic Studio Gainax, is a awesome tale of pushing oneself for greatness in the face of insurmountable odds. Plus, for a price tag of less than $20 on Blu-ray, I honestly wouldn't mind someone gifting me a copy this holiday season. Number 9. Nadia, The Secret of Blue Water. I've talked about Nadia, The Secret of Blue Water in depth in previous episodes, so I won't go into it much here. However, Due to the recent Blu-ray releases of Nadia, this is a very easy and simple find this holiday season and is a great adventure tale for you and your friends to enjoy. Number 10. Ranma 1/2. Ranma is one of those 90s gateway shows that many early fans back in the day cut their teeth on. Tons of zany action and characters with 6 seasons, 2 movies, and a number of OVAs. There's plenty of content to go around. Viz has been releasing this show on Blu-ray in season box sets, making it easy for you to pick yourself up a copy. Number 11. YuYu Hakusho. Now, me personally, I first found out about YuYu Hakusho in the form of the Poltergeist Report movie. I watched it, I thought it was cool and enjoyable, and didn't even realize that there was a full-length anime that actually went to, that movie. Which brings me to the point of Yu Yu Hakusho is probably one of the lesser-known gateway animes from the 90s. It tells the story of Yusuke Urameshi, a spirit detective working off his sins and protecting the world from evil spirits. The show also has multiple seasons, and it has seen a recent release on Blu-ray in the form of season box sets. If you like action anime and bad guys with hearts of gold, this one should be right up your alley. Number 12. Sailor Moon. It's hard to talk about an old school anime list and not bring up Sailor Moon, one of the biggest gateway animes from the 90s. Currently, Sailor Moon only has the first 2 seasons available for purchase on Blu-ray. However, Funimation's streaming service, and consequently Hulu as well, has the majority of the first 4 seasons of Sailor Moon available to watch, with the previously unreleased, here in the States, Sailor Stars coming very soon. So take a look, see if you might enjoy. Number 13. Dragon Ball Z. Alright, and finally, we come to DBZ, perhaps one of the most popular action anime from the 90s, and considering its newly released new seasons and whatnot, maybe even today. While I often can't get over the length of time it takes for the plot to progress, there's no denying that this is one of the shows that I really enjoyed back in the 90s, as well as a great majority of 90s fans. Copies of this series are available on Blu-ray, and I've even seen it available in big box retail stores such as Walmart, so there shouldn't be any issue going out and finding yourself a copy. Alright, well, that brings this holiday shopping guide to a close. What are your thoughts? Is there any titles that you think I should have added that I didn't have here on the list? Or is there anything else that you think should have been on the list? Have you seen some of these shows? Or have I piqued your interest in order to pick up some of these? Let me know in the comment sections below. You can always hit me up on Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr. All of the social media links are going to be in the description below. And of course, if this is your first time watching, I want to thank you for sticking with me here to the very end. And if you want to see more of my content, I encourage you to hit one of the 2 links that I've got up here in the upper corners of previous content that I've had. And of course, if you like this content and want to see more, hit that subscribe button above my head, because it's going to put you front row and center whenever I release something new, as it will show up in your feed, and of course, it always helps me out. Like this video if you liked it, dislike it if you didn't like it, and consider checking out my Patreon page to potentially become a patron of mine, because doing so will get you right here in the scrolling marquee below and give you a chance to even get some more input into future episodes. Either way though, guys, this is all the time I have for today, so this is Nate, the old school otaku, signing off. And that's a wrap. A wrap. Like wrapping paper that you put over presents and stick under the tree, because you know you gots to wrap. You gots to wrap the paper, the wrapping paper around the present so that they open it up and then you throw it away. Oh, new shirt. Yay, Lupin. Yay. I'm looking at myself. myself, camera, myself, camera.